Hey guys, Matt here and welcome to my fragrance obsession. Once again, I am outside of my girlfriend's house here in North Carolina. The weather today is sort of on the cool side. It's not really cold, but it's pretty acceptable to be outside in a t-shirt to do a review. The fragrance that I have on review today, my friends, is a scent which came out in 1974, and this is a very rare scent. Those of you who are very aware of the classic Revlon perfume known as Ciara or Ciara, you might just be aware of this perfume. Now, my good friend Linnea Smith, who I have done a video with before, did a review on Ciara, which is actually known as the sister perfume to this fragrance that I am going to be reviewing today. He actually reviewed it, which I will actually be leaving the link to that video in the description of this video. So if you're interested in seeing that, please give it a watch because it's a brilliant review. The sister fragrance, which is known as Cerissa. Now, this fragrance is a vintage cologne. It's not actually a perfume. I think it's just a cologne spray. Yeah, concentrated cologne spray. So I guess it's the equivalent of a eau de toilette or maybe an eau de parfum. It's got the strength of an eau de parfum, but yes. Now this scent is a vintage version. I picked this up last year, last December, so I have had this for about a year now. I don't personally wear it, however, because it is obviously too feminine. It is a vintage find. I picked this up for like $3. I've looked online and big bottles like this one, I think this is a 90 ml, maybe 85 ml, something obscure like that, but this was a very good find for me because I did actually think that this was a pretty nice smell when I smelt it. It still is a nice smell. It doesn't seem like it's gone out of date or anything. The smell doesn't seem like it's gone off or anything, so it actually has been looked after. And when I found this and when I bought it, it was at the back of a shelf kept in darkness, so I guess it's been there for many years because it's still in good condition. I have actually fixed this bottle up a little bit. I've cleaned it a bit, I've made it look a little bit newer. I suppose I've made a pretty good idea of making it new, I guess. But yes, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this was how similar it was to Charlie perfumes. If you've ever seen the Charlie sort of perfumes for women, then you'll be familiar of what it is I'm talking about. But even the writing for the Cerissa right there is very similar. Now, a little bit of information about this fragrance. Now, it came out in 1974. It is a discontinued perfume. However, its sister perfume, Ciara or Ciara, is actually still in production, and it's known as these days as quite a cheap perfume. However, the way Linnea Smith describes it, he says that it's actually quite a nice perfume. So again, check it out. It is in the description, the link. Please do check it out if you're interested. Now, back to Cerissa. Now, this fragrance came out in 1974. This is a vintage version. I couldn't tell you when it came out, but not a lot is known on it, even online. I've tried my best to look for stuff. There is a notes list, and all I know is that this fragrance was actually made by Charles Revson. Now, Charles Revson is actually the founder of Revlon, and he's also the guy who made this fragrance. And he's also made quite a few perfumes of his own as well. But he made Ciara, and he's also made this one. I believe he made Ciara. I could be wrong. But yes, this one was later made by Revlon, later in the years before it was discontinued. But yes, we are going to talk about the notes. So here we go. Now, in terms of the top notes, we get bergamot and warm spices. It's a little bit vague when it mentions spices. It doesn't actually tell me what kind of spices there is, but I guess I do get that it is quite a spicy scent. In terms of the middle notes, we get jonquil, I think, lily of the valley, jasmine, and honeysuckle. And in terms of the base notes, get quite a nice set of base notes out of this. We get oak moss, sandalwood, patchouli, musk, ambergris, labdanum, and vanilla. So here we go. Now, I didn't actually want to spray this on my skin because it is quite a pungent, quite a strong perfume. So I'm gonna have to, because basically what I'm saying is I tried to find some paper that I could spray it on, but I couldn't find any. So here we go. Look at the color of this stuff. And what's funny is Linnea Smith, when he reviewed Ciara, he also mentioned the fact that the juice is so like colored, and you can just see that right there how colored it is. Now, basically, when you smell this perfume, it pretty much to me smells like a very mature lady's perfume. I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is a very mature, sort of old ladyish sort of scent, and usually I find it quite disrespectful when people say that, but when I smell this, I do actually have to give people who say that a little bit of credit, because this one is like that. It is a very mature sort of grandma sort of fragrance. That's the sort of vibe I get, but of course, with it being an elderly sort of fragrance, old 1974 release, that's the type of scent that came out at that time. So this one is just hidden in the past, you know. So when I smell this, I do get sort of a zesty bergamot on the top with a very spicy mid-range behind that. Kind of reminds me of a spiced bergamot, that's what I would say. The bergamot is super strong. Warm spices, like I said, it's quite vague. It doesn't really give me a specific spicy note. I don't really know what to really call it. I guess it kind of reminds me of a ginger, and I know ginger isn't actually mentioned in this fragrance, but I do get sort of very peculiar ginger note with that bergamot. So I guess ginger could be listed. If it said ginger on the notes list, I would understand personally. In terms of the middle notes, it's very, very floral after it's been on your skin for pretty much only about 10 minutes. Probably the first part of this fragrance which I really like is the opening. It's very strong on the spices, of course, so that's the part I really like. But once it's been on your skin for 10 minutes, the fragrance gets very floral, and we do get a lot of jasmine, a lot, and I mean a lot, I have to put a lot more emphasis on this, we get a lot of lily. The lily is super pure. It smells very genuine. It actually smells like a very, very unsynthetic lily of the valley oil. This is going to sound really, really strange to you guys, but I remember many years ago I used to take my dog on walks and stuff through the woods, and we used to always walk underneath this tree, but I always remember there was this beehive in the tree, and you know, they say that when you walk under a tree and you smell like a very sort of metallic honey smell, that's when they say that there's a beehive above you. And of course the sound of bees, which is obvious, but the smell apparently is very metallic. It smells like a very like honey is actually being made, and it smells a little bit like wood. So that is the kind of smell I get out of this. Calling it honeysuckle, I guess, isn't the right word for it. I would just say that this smells like a natural born honeycomb. That's the kind of smell I get out of this. But I guess what's giving me that woodland feel is the fact that it's just very woody, and I guess that's when the sandalwood comes in. The sandalwood is giving it that really rich wood feel. In terms of the base notes, this fragrance lasts about 9 hours on my skin. I'm not kidding. There's been times where I have sprayed it once or twice on my skin. Look at my hand, it's still orange. That's ridiculous. But yes, it starts to get very woody in the dry down. I do get that tiny bit of vanilla. In terms of the other notes, I don't really get any of the other notes. So I don't really get a kind of oak moss. I don't really get a patchouli. So yeah, I personally, this is a very dated perfume. It is for the mature crowd. Personally, not something I would wear. The only reason I've got this in my collection is because it's a great find for me. When I smell this, I can understand why this one is discontinued. It is a little bit generic. It does remind me of the Charlies. It kind of has a bit of a Chanel No. 5 feel to it. So whenever people talk about Ciara or Ciara, however it's pronounced, Linnea Smith actually mentioned it being quite a nice oriental perfume, the fact that there's vanilla in there. There's also a little bit of neroli in the opening. To me, that sounds a little bit unique, considering the fact that it's an old perfume and the fact that you don't really hear neroli in sort of older perfumes. I mean, I know that neroli is an old ingredient, but you don't really hear a lot about neroli being in old perfumes. With this one, looking at the note breakdown, it is a little bit generic. It does smell like I said before, the Charlies and like a Chanel No. 5 copy in a way. But overall, I do not think this is a bad perfume whatsoever. I think that this would suit a very mature woman. I think a woman with style, a woman with integrity. I just think that it's filled with a very nice, mature, sexy vibe. I'm just really happy with this fragrance. I think it's a great buy for me. I mean, the fact that it only costs $3 and the fact that there is actually some information on this fragrance on Fragrantica. Base notes, it's quite vague. I've noticed there's only like 2 reviews, but on Fragrantica it is a little bit more adventurous with the reviews. But yes, this is a very good find for me. Not an amazing scent, but definitely got a lot of character. And if you can find a vintage bottle like me and add it to your collection, whether or not you're a guy or not, like, I mean, come on, you know me, guys. I like my vintage finds. Then you need to give it a find. And Linnea Smith, if you're watching this review, I hope you can also find this fragrance to add with your bottle of Ciara, because I would really like to see you review this, my friend. if I'm honest. But yes, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt, Fragrance Matt. If you've enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this fragrance review. And if you have ever smelt Cerissa by Revlon or Charles Revson, please let me know also in the comments and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a lovely winter time and Christmas time wherever you are in the world. You take care of yourselves, guys, and Merry Christmas. Bye bye for now.